So it's currently March the 3rd. It's a little later, it's the next week, and turns out I didn't have the flu. In fact, I had something far worse, far worse, depending on if it had progressed. I actually had mastitis, which is essentially a blocked milk duct. At some point, I went too long between expressing or too long between feeding him, which can happen. And essentially, because I'm an overproducer, a lot of milk was waiting to come out and didn't get to come out and ended up curdling in my breast and blocking the duct, which can happen. I say curdling. Curdling's the wrong word. Basically, it gets compacted. It's a bit like a milk version of a blood clot, but less intense and less severe in that respect. However, when the milk block gets duct, it causes swelling and inflammation of the milk gland, or the gland that produces the milk. And that then becomes swollen, it becomes inflamed, and it becomes infected. So the symptoms I was experiencing that I thought was flu was actually infection symptoms. And this can actually continue and get worse and actually turn into an abscess if you don't remove the blockage of the duct. The only way to remove the blockage of the duct is to either express it out, be that hand expression or pump expression, or to have Little feed from it. And apparently babies are very good at getting out blocked ducts. Now, I've actually had trouble breastfeeding on that side. I've been primarily pumping on that side because I have a massive crack on my nipple right now, which is causing a lot of pain to breastfeed with. But I decided, you know what, getting this duct unblocked is more important so that it doesn't become an abscess. Because if it becomes an abscess, that's a whole different ball game. The fact that it was an infection, if the infection lasted over 24 hours, I would have needed to contact the GP and get antibiotics. However, if it had become an abscess, I would have had to go get surgery to have the abscess removed. And I actually have a friend who knows someone who got mastitis in both boobs and both turned to abscesses. And she had to have massive patches of her chest gouged out in order to get rid of this abscess, and still breastfed through recovery of the abscesses, which is just insane. But yeah, that's what could have happened to me. It didn't, because the flu-like symptoms, the cold shakes, the hot sweats, the exhaustion didn't last that long. Like, the exhaustion lasted 4 days, but the cold sweats and the hot sweats lasted about 24 hours. That to me was just weird. It's like, no, if it was the flu, I'd be like this for a week, so it can't be the flu, so what else is it? And then I started researching my other symptoms, which was pain in the breast, slight hardness of the breast, or slight lumpy sort of hard sensations in the breast, warm to the touch, or the breast being warm to the touch, which wasn't helping my vasospasms because, vasospasms is off the nipple, but it wasn't actually helping in that respect. And after not that much digging, I actually found that I had all the symptoms of mastitis, which I was like, oh, so that's what it was. And that's also why I was able to recover from it, because at some point during the day, I actually had him on that chest and he actually drained it out, and that was actually what caused me to recover. So I was very grateful for that. Very grateful for that. But yeah, that's what I had last week. That's what made me so badly, terribly ill, was mastitis. I spent all of Friday recovering from it and getting better, and by Friday night I was finally feeling human again. Then on Saturday we actually went to my friend's house to celebrate Chinese New Year, which, yes, I know is a bit late to celebrate at the end of February, but it was the first opportunity that we all had to get together to actually celebrate it. And my friend is Chinese Malaysian, or Malaysian Chinese. Can't remember which way around it is. So Chinese New Year is a big deal to her, so we always try and celebrate it with her every year. We had a big gathering of all our close friends, and some of her friends from her old job who she stayed close to came along, and we had a really good time. It was great. Like, the hot pot was so yummy. It was so good. And everyone loved Little Man. Everyone thought he was the most adorable thing on the planet. And my friend actually has a almost 1-year-old. He's 1 at the end of this month. So we had a great time interacting with him and letting him enjoy his first Chinese New Year. That was really good fun. And then Sunday was not yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. Sunday, I think we had a recovery day because little man had a really disturbed sleep on Saturday. We think he went through a growth spurt because he gave Jason sent me to bed. He's like, right, you're still recovering from mastitis. You go to bed, get as much recovery as you need. I'll look after the little man downstairs tonight so you're not disturbed. And apparently he didn't sleep all night. He had a really, really restless night. Jason didn't get a wink of sleep. It made me giggle because the 2 times I've said the same thing to Jason, you go to bed so you're undisturbed. I'll look after little man. Both those times he's had a growth spurt on those nights. And this was the first time it had happened to Jason. And I felt so bad for Jason. So bad for Jace. But he now understands why he came down to me basically crying my eyes out on the 2 nights that it's happened, or the 2 nights that I've gone through the growth spurts, because they are not easy. The growth spurts are so hard to battle through. But they're only temporary, which is the nice part. They only last like 24 to 48 hours, or his only lasts 24 to 48 hours. I know a couple of people that have said they can last up to 4 days. So on Sunday we mainly had a recovery day because I had to then take over care of, for obvious reasons, mainly so Jason could get some sleep because my god, he was overexhausted by that point. Then yesterday, Monday, we had a pretty busy day. Yesterday we were meant to have a date day. Jason's parents offered to have little man for the day from 11 till 6. So we could actually have some time to ourselves, have some couple time. We debated about what to do. Originally, we were actually going to go out for the day and do something. And then the weather ended up turning out to be miserable. So we said to ourselves on Sunday, do you know what? We'll have a game day. We'll have a day at home where we can game together because we've not gamed together since before he arrived. We'll just spend some time together, enjoy each other's company, and have a nice, chill gaming day undisturbed for the first time in, at this point, literally months. However, that didn't happen. That did not happen. We got a good night's sleep. Little man KO'd at about 1 a.m, I believe it was. No, 1:30. 1:30 in the morning, he finally went to sleep. And I knew that he was going to be out cold for a good few hours. So we put him down and we put our own heads down so we could get a few hours. He woke up, as predicted, around 5 a.m. So I got up with him. I breastfed him because I was due to express at 6 o'clock anyway. So I breastfed him first thing, settled him back down in his crib or in his next to me cot, then came downstairs, did my pump, and then he woke up while I was still pumping at like 7:30 for his next feed. So Jason got up with him and brought him downstairs. And after I finished pumping, Jason said to me, well, just have him while I get a shower and then go to bed for a nap. And I'll drop him off at my mum and dad's. So that's what I did. I went to bed around 10 o'clock-ish and I struggled to sleep. I struggled to turn off because I could hear them both downstairs moving around. Then at about 10:30, Jason left the house in order to go to his mum and dad's. And by 11:20, I was still awake. My brain just didn't want to turn off. It didn't want to have a nap. It needed a nap, but it didn't want to have a nap. So I was like, do you know what? I might as well just lie here and enjoy the rest and get up when Jason gets home, because he's going to be home in the next like 40 or half an hour to 45 minutes. I passed out. I passed out. I suddenly went didn't knowingly went unconscious. I fell asleep, but I was KO'd. I didn't hear Jason come home. I didn't hear him shouting me. Unconscious to the world. Now, usually when we have plans, Jason actually wakes me up and he gets me out of bed, or he lets me know, he comes in and physically lets me know that he's home. But on this occasion, he didn't do that. He shouted for me when he came in through the front door, and he shouted from the landing when he went to get the parrots up, or when he went to get the parrots out of their cages. But he didn't actually come in the room and wake me up like he usually does. He figured, oh, she must be asleep, she must need it, I'll let her sleep. I slept all the way through till 2:30. All the way through till 2:30. And when I woke up, I needed to express again. Which was going to take me at least an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Because, yeah, I'm a big overproducer. It takes a while for the chest to empty. So I woke up, saw the time, and started crying. I literally bawled my eyes out because I had just lost our entire date day. We only had 6 hours. 1 hour had already been lost because Jason nipped the shops on his way home because we needed some bits that we could only get from certain shops. So we'd already lost 1 hour. Then I just slept for another 2.5 hours, and I was about to lose another hour to pumping, which meant that we only had 1 hour of gaming time together. That's it. Our whole day together was gone, and we were going to get 1 hour. I was mortified. I was heartbroken, and I literally burst into tears. I was so gutted because I've been looking forward to today all week. I was like, yes, I get to spend a day with just Jason, undisturbed. I don't have to worry about him because he's with people I trust. That didn't happen. We still had an hour game, which was wonderful and lovely, but not nearly long enough. Not even close to long enough. And then we went to pick him up and then had a meal with Jason. Went for a meal with Jason's mum and dad. So we had a nice little family meal together before coming home. And then little man has had a really disturbed night. We've actually got the health visitor coming around this morning for a check-in. She's due at 9 a.m. So I need to get breakfast and get pumped, and little man's not long settled down long enough for me to actually put him down, but I'm also enjoying a cuddle right now. But he's had a really unsettled night because we have the health visitor coming in this morning. Jason's actually had him downstairs all night and done the primary care so that I can be up for the health visitor. So I'm actually going to put little man down now for a nap in his cot now that he's somewhat KO'd, and I'll check in with you guys after the health visitor's been. So the health visitor's gone, and I've got some breakfast, and I've also done a little bit of video editing of, I think it's Newborn Diaries part 3-ish. I've not been able to do any video editing for the last week and a half because of the mastitis. But I need to get going. I actually need to run to Halfords and get a new headlight for my car, which I have ordered. I just need to go get it fitted because I don't trust myself to do it. And I'm also slightly just lazy. But the health visitor is really pleased. She said little minion is growing wonderfully. He has a lot of muscle. He is very compact. He's 5 kilograms now. 5 kilograms. He's a big, strong boy. He's a very strong boy. But she's happy with him. She said everything sounds good. He seems to be growing fine. It's good that his blood work's come back fine. And everything else seems to be looking good. His growth seems good. He's moving. He seems to be hitting all of his milestones early, which is great. Everything is fantastic with little baby. Apparently we're doing a very good job as parents, even if we are struggling in other ways. There's an ambulance outside my house. Weird. Not a lot of drama, like compared to our last house where there was some sort of domestic going on every single night and sirens all the time and police flying down and ambulances and fire engines. Not a lot of drama happens here, so when you suddenly see an ambulance outside your house, you're like, whoa, what's going on? But it looks like it's just an taxi ambulance picking someone up, or maybe dropping someone off, who knows. Anyway, the health visitor is very happy with little minion, saying he's growing amazingly and we are doing everything great as parents. Mentioned a few of the issues that I'm having breastfeeding, and she sympathises with me and understands that it is a lot harder for me compared to some other mothers. Not compared to all mothers, some mothers have it even harder than me, but she understands that it is challenging and she can understand why I've been so emotional about it all. She has given me some links to some postnatal like therapy sessions sort of thing, or people I can talk to about mental health if I feel I need to talk to anyone, which I am grateful for. I don't feel the need at the moment because I have Jason and my mum and Jason's mum and my friends in order to offload my thoughts and emotions to. So I don't feel like I actually need any further outside assistance. Maybe one day, who knows, I'm not sure. She checked in with me to make sure I'd actually applied for PIP, which I have. I'm just waiting on my assessment information. So I've had the assessment phone call on Thursday last week, and I'm now just waiting for that to actually come back to say whether or not they think I'm eligible or not. And according to my sister, if they find me not eligible, apparently I can appeal it and I'll get approved pretty much straight away because I do have a medically registered disability, technically. So we'll see. I don't know. Oh, little one's just woke up for his feed. And I need to get dressed to go, so I'm going to have to shout Daddy down. But all is well and good. Health visitor is very happy with us, and she said everything is looking fantastic. Just keep doing what we're doing. We do need to keep doing what we're doing as far as he's concerned, but we need to start prioritising our own self-care as well. We both need to start getting a better pattern when it comes to sleep, and we both need to start getting our exercise back in, because with me being ill quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, either with the cold or with the mastitis, neither of us have been able to train, neither of us have been able to exercise, neither of us have been really able to prioritise self-care quite a lot. So that is going to be our main focus over the last couple of weeks. Sorry, over the next couple of weeks. Now that my 6 weeks is over, I do need to try and get training properly. I do want to start running again, but that is going to be very difficult with little man unless I actually start running with the pram, which I could try, but might be a bit weird with his big pram. I don't know. Or trying to find time where Jason can look after him so I can try and go out and start getting myself back into running. Or it might just be a case of I have to stick with home training and calisthenics and mobility. But one thing I do want to start this week is I want to get back into doing my Tom Morrison mobility training, also my hybrid calisthenics training, and my Tap Brothers. But Tap Brothers doesn't start for another 5 days. 4 days. 4 days. The Tap Brothers training restarts because we're doing their abs challenge, or hoping to do their abs challenge. So we will see. We will see what's going to happen there. And then after the abs challenge is complete, I will be switching the abs challenge for Primal Movement 101, and then eventually doing the Rapid Primal Fitness program. So that's the plan. We're going to be doing mobility training with Tom Morrison at least 3 times a week. We're going to be trying to do hybrid calisthenics whenever possible. Whenever possible, God knows when, but whenever possible. And then the abs challenge with the Tap Brothers for 30 days, and then going back onto the Tap Brothers RPF program. And hopefully that will build me a good foundational level of strength and fitness for me to then work on and work towards. But we'll see. Anyway, I need to get going, because if I don't get going soon, I will not be back in time to express before I actually need to leave for my BSL course. So I will see you guys probably tomorrow, because I am not going to have time to train tonight. So there's going to be no training in this part of the video, but hopefully see you tomorrow when maybe, just maybe, you might actually be able to get some training in.